What's up guys, it's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. And as you can see, I've just woken up and it's the beginning of the morning. I haven't even had chance to collect my food and iron yet, but the costume summon has opened up. And big news is we have my man Thorne in here. He looks amazing. And we've got Boril, who's much awaited, and Renfield, and also Gunnar. Who's also an awesome hero. So we've got to have a look at them today. But the big news is this should be the second to last of the costumes, because as far as I can muster, I think that we've only got one 5-star left, and that is this chickie Catalan. So we should be seeing a costume for her in the next iteration, and that'll probably be big, but that'll be the last Toon hero from the 5 stars. And then from the 4 stars, it'll be Sabina. And from the 3 stars, I think we've got Tyrim, and that is literally it. And then we have completely sort of saturated the whole portal with Toons, which also means that every single time you pull from this portal, you will be getting a Toon. So that's maybe a reason to wait until the next one, but we shall see, because we've got to see how good or bad the Toon costume for Thorne is. So we'll start off straight away, dive right in. He looks dope. I really do like the way he looks. They've actually gone sort of true to the original, but also quite... he's quite stern looking, actually. I mean, he looks a little bit more friendly in that one. I think he looks a bit more angry as a Toon. That's the same as the Jahangir one. Jahangir is like, he looks like he's just stuck trying to push out a really hefty turd. But anyways, we have got the Toon for Thorne. So of course he's an ice hero. He is of the Paladin class, nice defensive class. He gets the family bonus, so the classic family heroes get increased attack, defense, and healing, depending on how many of these heroes you have on your team, which is again a big reason why people will put a whole team of Toons on defense, because they just boost all of their stats right across the board, which is awesome. Family costume bonus, 50% attack, 50% defense, 70% health, and 5% mana bonus. If we switch off the max power preview, that means these Toons are running a team power of 1112, which again, as I've said, is that is the strongest hero in the game. If you look at any of the most recent portals that are available in the game, so I mean, June's is probably not the best example, but Khonshu's just crept over 1002 team power. But we're looking at these heroes in the Toon portal, and they're already well over 1000 team power. So strongest stats in the game: attack 1032, defense 1126, and health 22 to 3. Gee, I can't even do numbers at this time in the morning. 2223 on the health. In terms of his special, it is going to be the Toon finisher. It was the ice cold finisher, which was 490% damage to the target and minor damage to nearby enemies. Now, we know how effective this damage to the target and minor to nearby enemies has been from looking at Toon Richard. But check this guy's special out now. He's running at average speed, same as Toon Richard, and he deals 640% damage to the target and minor damage to the nearby enemies and extra damage against fire. Man, you know what? This special is only 2 lines long, but it doesn't need to be any longer. He doesn't need to get the attack down that Richard gives, because honestly, that doesn't make that big of a difference. Why Richard's been so effective on defensive teams is because his damage is just so massive. And if we look at his card, I'm going to scroll through these until I get to Richard. There he is. So he's dealing 565% damage to the target and minor to nearby enemies. So his stats being similar, he's dealing about 100% less damage to the target and nearby. Yes, they get the negative attack for 6 turns. That can be cleansed off though. But the main thing is he hits like a truck and he kills. He destroys the whole entire team. And so with Thorne hitting at 640 to the target and then the minor to nearby, he's going to be a brutal Toon hero. So definitely one I would love to get my hands on. Don't forget about the passive, obviously 75% chance to resist all status ailments, mana reductions, and buff dispels. So yeah, I really think that these Toons are like a viable option for counters to many different heroes in the game. So if you're struggling as to, where to drop your pulls and things like that, they may not be the most exciting heroes because they're heroes that you've seen before, but actually they're breathing new life into these heroes. And this is a more accessible way for you to be able to compete against top defenses, to grab heroes like this, because he is definitely going to beef up and bolster your arsenal. So anyways, I love Thorne. Enough said about Thorne. We do have another couple of costumes in here. Let us get them up. So Boril, what's going on? These Toons are cute, man. Anyway, so Boril, interesting hero, very one-dimensional, and kind of super boring with the changes that they've made to him over the time. He's had a perfect riposte, which was a caster and nearby counter-attacking with 125% for 5 turns. That was strong at one point in time. He then went to, all allies counter-attacking with 60%, and then he went to all allies counter-attacking with 80%, and then the counter-attack damage increases. So very, very boring Boril. Just a plain chicken soup of a hero. Just nothing amazing and special about him. Now, in terms of what he's doing, so he is of the cleric class. Very good class because he does sort of shield himself from those negative mana effects. Stats-wise, again, we know he's going to be nice and beefed up. Ether talent, looking at the regen ether talent, again, it's not one of my favorite. So you know what? I don't want to spend a lot of time on this hero if I don't think he's going to be as effective as others that we've got in the portal already. So let's just jump right to his special. So the Toon Riposte, caster and nearby counterattack with 120% of the damage received for 5 turns. This status effect is undispellable and lasts 2 turns longer on ice characters. Okay, really, really good and really very strong that the counterattack effect is undispellable and it lasts for 5 turns. Really, really crappy that it only gives it to him and the nearby. Really, really good that it is 120% counterattack. Now, let us have a look at another hero that's in this portal. And I do actually have his costume, but I haven't got the costume maxed, the Toon costume maxed. So I'm going to need to find him myself. And the hero that I'm looking for is Cyprian. So I know Cyprian has had this costume. So caster and nearby allies counterattack with 125% of the damage received for 5 turns. This status effect is undispellable and lasts 2 turns longer on dark characters. Okay, so very, very similar. The only difference, though, is he's got 5% extra on his counterattack. And also, he's got this awesome costume where he gives the counterattack with the damage reduction and the mana regeneration. So why you would want Boril over him, I have absolutely no idea. So I'm going to say Boril is definitely not our best counter-attacking Toon. I do like the fact that he's of the cleric class and potentially just the fact that he's in the ice element, so he can do something similar. But you are losing out quite a lot, and all he is doing is counter-attacking, and all it is for him and the nearby allies. So yeah, not the hugest fan of Boril. Moving on to our first of the 3 stars, Renfield. Again, I'm sorry guys, but this is not a hero that I've had been a fan of over the years. And again, his Toon costume looks pretty freaky. But yeah, let's have a look at him. Okay, so in terms of stats, we won't go over those. Again, we know they get the big family bonuses. They get the 5% mana bonus actually at the 3-star level, which is really good. And then the passive, they get that nice Toon passive. Class for him is really good. So fighter class gives him the chance to revive. So that may be a reason. He does get the special skill boost, which is nice if he's dealing damage, because at the start of each battle, he gets an extra 30% damage on his special skill. And his special skill is called Toon Stars. Sounds like a weird show. Toon Stars. Anyway, it was Leeching Stars. And he dealt 215% damage to the target and then healed himself for 50% of the damage dealt. So unless he's become like a healer to the whole team, or, caster and nearby enemies at least, I'm already sure I'm not going to be a fan of this. So 245% damage to the target, so a single target hit, and then heals the caster for 40% of the damage dealt and extra damage against Holy. I mean, 245% damage, even if you have the best stats in the world, even at the 3-star level, where you've got other heroes like, I think it's Boots that does like 250 to 3, and then Wither and something else as well. You know, you've got heroes that do so much more, and then he's only healing himself for 40% of the damage dealt. Kind of a selfish hero. I'm not a fan of selfish heroes. I prefer heroes that help to support their team, or at least have enough power to literally snipe somebody out. And Renfield is not that hero. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Renfield. And then our third hero that is in the portal. Let me see how far past him we went. Oh, miles past. Right. This dude. Absolute essential hero for events, for challenge events. I love my costume for Gunner. He is so good that it doesn't matter how good or bad this Toon costume is, I would pick it up just to be able to get the extra stats on this guy, because it will boost your scores in events. With that soul connection, shared damage, and the negative defense for 5 turns, he's just an awesome hero for events. There's nobody... I mean, you can use him at all levels. You can use him at the rare, the the epic, and at the legendary level. So the costume for Gunner, we've got, again, in terms of stats, actually looking really beefy. He's not quite as defensively built as I thought. So it is kind of a downside that he leans more towards attack than defense, because he's the kind of hero you just need to keep your team alive. Like I was saying about Renfield being a selfish hero, Gunner's probably the least selfish hero in the game. So his special skill is Toon Link, was Spirit Link. So we had all allies become soul connected for 5 turns, and then all allies share received damage, and all allies get plus 63 defense for 5 turns. So in the Toon version, the soul connection lasts for 5 turns. The status effect is then undispellable, so that's strong. Okay, so yeah, the soul effect is soul connections undispellable, 2 turns longer for ice characters, and then all allies get plus 51% defense for 5 turns. And again, the status effect on the defense is undispellable and lasts 2 turns longer on ice characters. So I could definitely work with this guy. I think that he would actually be really, really good defensively in, say, the buff booster tournament, because if you can put the soul connection on everyone and that's undispellable, and you can put the defense up and that's now undispellable as well, then you've got 2 buffs already that are completely undispellable. Like I said before, only downside, he's not doing any damage, so he can be seen as a kind of a tile dump. But at the same time, if you can flank him with other heroes that do a lot of damage, then you're definitely in business. I can see this guy being absolutely awesome in the buff booster tournament. And then, like I said before, pardon me, if you do manage to get his costume, I'd max it right away just to take advantage of this awesome costume for this hero. So yeah, that is all of our Toons that are in the portal. I'm a massive fan of Thorne, if you couldn't already tell. Please do let me know in the comments what you guys think about this hero. I think he's going to be an absolute destroyer of worlds. I think you're going to be seeing him on many defenses near you in the not too distant future. So do drop us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it with your mother, guys. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.